So good evening, everyone. I think we can start. So welcome to the first class of the Human-Computer Interaction course. For those that doesn't know me, I am Luigi De Russis and will be the main teacher for this course. I see some common faces and some new faces as well from previous courses that I had, but welcome everyone. This course will be done by me as again the main teacher and also for some of the lab hours, and from Alberto Mongeroffarello and Tommaso Calò that will mostly follow the lab hours instead. So let me start with a disclaimer that is not written, so you cannot pick any information from the slides at the moment. The disclaimer is this one, and it's just about, let's say, my teaching philosophy, let's say like this, but especially in this course. So I'm not going to talk for 3 hours in a row, not even 1 hour and a half in a row. I will ask questions to you, and you will expect to answer those questions. I will ask questions of 3 types along the entire semester. The first type of question is more like icebreaker, like the one that will follow the slide. The second kind of questions is to go more in deep in some topic that I will present, because one of the goals here is to make you think and then decide and then do something. But thinking is actually important as well as doing. And the third thing is sort of related to, it will be more in the exercise hours where we will give you something to do, and we will then check how this thing is going in general. So this is something you have to expect. You expect to speak. Don't expect to stay there silent, because it will not go well otherwise. And if some of you already have seen me in Applicazioni Web 1, that's nothing like that. It's much more than this. So you here are frequently tasked with questions. And this is a space for you to fail, meaning that I will not remember what you said to any answer. And so you can say whatever things you came to your mind, and it will be fine, unless it's like decent, until it's decent. Okay, so this is the disclaimer. And then we will go a little bit over in the course topic and what we will do today and what we typically do in these 3 hours that are not, let's say, nice hours to have on Monday evening, but it is what it is. It could be worse. It could be Friday evening. So after a disclaimer, let me start with one question, just because you're prepared. Don't look at the slides. If you have the slides, don't look at them, because there is probably the answer. But this course is giving you knowledge, practical and theoretical knowledge on various things, but one central, let's say, element, one central entity is one that you typically don't meet in other courses in the past, in the future, here at Politecnico, especially for those that come from computer engineer, that is, or data science engineer, that is the vast majority of you, which is this entity, this element that we are going to center the course around. Now is the moment to answer, just to give you a hint. Any idea? No, she was right on the first trial, so we have to an agreement with the 2 of you. Less answer, fewer answer. Yes, the person. And so this course will start with people and will continue with people. and we will focus on people more than on technology. Of course, technology is there, is in the name of the course, human-computer interaction, so we have computers as well, but there's also we have humans. And so humans, this is just a picture I found in the internet last year, so don't ask. The human is the one that we are going to put at the center of everything we will do in this semester, in this course. It is a change of paradigm, probably for many of you, if not all. It will be challenging for the first week, I can promise, from experience in the past, but then after the first 2 weeks you will enter in this approach that will be complementary to the approach that you already have, that is the engineering, the classical, let's say, engineering problem solving approach. Okay, so so this course is about people, will be centered on people, but also this presentation for this first hour will be sort of centered on people. And without looking at the slides, which could be the 4, let's say, kind of people, category, groups of people that we will, in your opinion, talk about in this first hour introduction to the course. Students, yes, that's one. You. And we were going to discuss about your expectation. So prepare an answer for the next question, that is expectation. Then? No. No, users is too generic. People mostly in this room. So students, we already solved one. Then teacher, good. And so we will speak about goals and motivation. Then people not in this room, but not far away from you. Wait. No, wait. Business. No. Someone close to you, but not in this room. Last year students. We will get a hint on the end of course questionnaire of last year and how that impacted this edition of the course. We're talking about people, so user experience is not about people and businesses is not about people. Well, of course it involves people, but it's not people, right? And then the fourth one, that is a combination of the first two. The first two. If you sum the first two in this room, what you obtain? Yes, it is classes, yeah. Everybody here, at least. That's good. It went way well this year than last year, so congratulations. Step 1 done. And for everybody here, we will talk about topic, course organization, and exam, because we all want, including teachers, do a good course and, let's say, survive the semester in the best way as possible. So this is not just you, also us. We don't want to die on this hill. We want to arrive in January with a smooth course done. Okay, so let's start with student expectation. So this is an elective course. And there will be a variety of reasons, some more, let's say, noble and some a little bit less noble, for which you choose this course. The 140 people that choose this course, a little bit more. But what do you hope to learn in this course? So I'm not asking about motivation, but what do you hope to learn, to possess at the end of the course in January? I would like to listen to, say, 4, 5 different voices out of 100. Sounds reasonable? Yeah, you can speak if you want now. We have time until 7. You hope to learn about user experience, define user experience. Who talked? Define user experience. What do you mean for user experience? the interaction between the user and the software. That's the title of the course, basically. Okay? So you want to learn more about that? Okay? Anybody else? 4 or 5, we just -1. 3 or 4? Yes?
Maybe we can learn how to make a web page more interactive for users?
We can learn how to make a web page more interactive with the user, more or less. You will learn how to make a system, whatever it is. Could be a web page, could be not. More interactive or more usable or more usable in this sense. In this moment, let me use usable for a certain target population that is your users. 2 to go, at least 2 to go. Anyone else? You pick the course, like you close your eyes and say this one, like this, or there was some expectation. You should have expectation, whatever it is, right or wrong. Yes? Make the average user make the most from the software. Well, I will debate on the average user definition, but let's make people make the most from a software, whatever it is. Okay. How to collaborate? I hope this is something you already know, but yeah, you will have to learn anyway during the course. Anyone else?
Understand the psychology behind some choices in programming and system design.
Understanding the psychology behind some choices in programming and system design. Well, I'm not a psychologist, so I cannot really help on that. I'm a computer engineer as a background, so same as many of you. So we will not go deep in psychology because probably I will not say something proper. But yeah, we will understand the human factors, let's say, behind some choices in how, let's say, the front end, the interface between the human, the user and the computer, whatever it is, the computer, will be. And so we will also go a little bit deep in a little bit, which are the mechanism for which a person, let's say, operate in this sense. Yes.
Understanding what is behind the maybe client request and how to implement it with the computer.
Understand what is behind the client request? What is the client?
Understanding the real needs of the people that we are trying to communicate with.
Okay, yes, understanding the needs of people, the clients like customer.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, understanding the needs that you will so quickly and in 2 days learn that are different from wants. One more, and then we are past 4 or 5, so one more is fine. Do you want? No? What is everything? Any last chance, and then we will proceed with other questions, so don't worry. Yes, two of them. First and second, then we stop. Go.
Maybe learn how to use some tools, for example, microphone, something like that, in order to, make the interaction between human and computer better.
Okay, so how to use some devices. Well, this will be a by result of the process, but maybe.
Understand that in a hardware or software system, the number of features is not only the most important thing, but also how much it's easy to use with an experienced user.
Yeah, then is let me say it in a probably slightly different way, just to generalize a little bit, that the technical performance, whatever you want to define, is not the only aspect to consider, but there are also other aspects that are more related to people going to use these systems. while the technical performance, the technical aspects are still important. It's not just half of the coin, and then there is the other half. Good. So let's start from us, teachers. Goals and motivation. We had students, your expectation, teacher as goal and motivation. So the goal of the course is to give you an understanding on how to design user experience when interacting with modern application, device, and environment. So in a more general way than not just web applications, in a way. And we want to give you in-depth knowledge on a human-centered process. It is general enough to give you tools to build on that if you want to specialize some of this thing, or reuse it to create interactive system. Again, the goal is create interactive system at the end, and we want you to give the knowledge and also how to apply them in practice. So it's not just theory, but also application of the theory. As I was saying before, thinking, understanding, and doing. So doing is still a significant part here. For doing this, we will also teach and ask you to apply a few methods to gather and listen user needs. So what people need from a specific system that will solve a specific issue, a specific problem. And also we will give you the instrument, and we'll ask you to apply those instruments to evaluate the system. So not only designing them, not only building them, but also evaluating them, testing them to see if they fit the original goal or not. Okay, so these are the 4 goals of this course. We will try to meet all of them in the most successful way possible. And this was goal. Now let's move to motivation. So motivation, we can have, let's say, two memes here. One is, let's say, one generalistic approach of how developer see users. So the car is going on the right. Because again, sometimes features, technical capabilities are more important. Or my idea, and that is something we will have some challenges, I'm sure. My idea or your idea is more important than anything else. And this maybe is true, maybe it's totally false. My idea towards something I'm going to create. And then, connected to one expectation that your colleague was saying, sometimes we have wonderful products with a lot of features, and then we have the user need that for a cat is just a box, instead of a multi-level item in the house. So we will need to balance the product features and the needs so that the product feature meet the needs and not go against them. And also we, as like mostly of you, data science engineer and computer engineer, needs to understand which are user need and listening to them instead of blaming people that things doesn't work as you designed, as you created, because you are right. Because most of the time you're not, or we are not, if you want to generalize to developer, engineer, etc. And this is a good example of user interface made by a developer. How do you think this interface is easy to use? You understand what to do with it? Any clue? You see them on your computer. Opinions, what's your reaction to this?
Just use default settings.
Just use the default setting. Which are the default settings? The one checked. Yeah, but you have to write something also.
Write only the things that you know we need.
There's a lot of trust the system, in the system we trust, and write something. But how do you define this? Is like, do you think it's easy to use, understandable, or improvable, let's say? It's confusing. Let's say it's confusing. Let's say it's a terrible user interface. This is a real example, by the way. So what this person did years ago was to get the wget command, the command line command, and decide that there are too many options that were hidden, because in a command line program, all the options are hidden, and you have to remember them. And the wonderful idea was, let's put all of them in a single user interface. So these are not all, because there is a pro mode that I don't know what it does, the pro mode. But these are all many of the features that the wget command line executable will do. And you can, according to the semantic of this, you can also select no info and all info and some info together. So you will get no info, all info, and some info at the same moment. And all things like this. This is for how this program is created. This is a developer. Let's say I have a wonderful idea. Let's make this a user interface, and it did. And this is the result. So not all the user interface are done like this. This is an extreme case, but these again exemplify a certain tendency of computer scientists, computer engineer, developers. So just do the thing so that it works for me, it's maybe performant, it's efficient, etc., and who care about the other people who are going to use it. Or maybe not care, but not thinking of the other people using this. This is probably usable from the person created for the first month, and then if the same person probably leave the room, didn't use it for 6 months, will never remember exactly what every checkbox will do. So this is an extreme example, but this is again one motivation to have one course like this in a technical university like we are. To add to the technical aspects that are important and that most, if not all other courses focus on, also these aspects of how can we make people use them without having this tool throw out of the window. And we will use many examples from the Politecnico website because it gives us wonderful example to criticize. So expect some example from that as well. Just not to blame all the others, let's blame also ourselves. So what we need to design and develop a good interactive system, we need a process that is, of course, human-centered, but it's also iterative. So it's not linear, it will have loops. We need to understand which are the people's needs that are not the wants, and we will see the difference. We need to know and apply principles, best practice, guidelines for creating user interface, whatever kind of user interface we're going to create. A web application, a mobile application, a virtual reality application, a button on the wall that we're not going to create, but still also that is an interface. We need to understand usability goals. We will also understand and will apply the concept prototyping. It's a rapid prototype and frequent prototype that will connect with the iterative process. We need to understand how to evaluate and which way we can evaluate this interactive system. And then, of course, we need programming to make the system real and not just leave them on paper. So these are a little bit the ingredient of this course. Now let's move to last edition of the course. Last edition of the course went, in terms of critiques, quite well. We just have two, let's say, main critiques. One was about a better organization of the feedback session that you will discover in a while, the feedback session. And we will try to organize them a little bit differently this year. And then a little bit more initial guidance on the projects, what you need to do on the project, and that will be 1.5 hours on Wednesday class of this week. And then, of course, during the entire project, we will keep in mind this initial guidance more than the one we gave, let's say, last year. So, in a sense, minor tweaks, likely. So this is about students last year. Maybe you will have different perspective, and we will discover with the student of next year. So let's move to everybody here. So let's talk about topic, organization, and exam. which are typically the things you are most interested in, especially the last one, the exam. So this is the plan of the course. On the website, for those that already has the link on the Portale and on Telegram, you will see also the entire tentative schedule of the semester until January that follow this plan. So we will start with introduction to human-computer interaction today, and partially on Wednesday. Then we will move to problem framing, because there is another things in addition to problem solving, is problem framing that happens before solving a problem, and need finding as a way techniques to frame the problem. Then we talk about tasks, prototyping, all these design guidelines, principle, etc. And then two kinds of evaluation. One is the heuristic evaluation, an expert evaluation, and the other one is instead usability testing, that is an evaluation done with like users of an interactive system. The learning material is on a website, not on the Portale, will not be on the Portale, will be on this website, and this is the short link, and on there you will have slides, exercise, labs text, the full schedule that you already have, templates, deadlines, because there will be deadlines, any supplementary material, etc. This course is also, as you can see by my two microphone setting, video recorded. In this course, we will record only lectures. No labs, but also no in-class exercise. Only lecture with me talking with a presentation, not the exercise, because the exercise is for you to work. So you will look at a video of me talking for 10 minutes and then silence for 45 minutes and then something that's enough from the work and then silence, so it's not really useful. Exercises for you to try and understand things before putting in place during the lab. So everything that in the schedule is marked with lecture will be video recorded. Everything that is not will not be video recorded, okay? And lectures will be on this YouTube playlist and also on the Portale della Didattica, as you prefer what to use for watching them. We also have a GitHub organization for slides, text, example, and for your group work that I will explain in a minute. Communication, we will use Telegram, as probably all you know, among you, with us, etc. This is the link in case you need it again. On the Telegram group, we'll have two topics. We will create others if needed, but the two topics are news and updates, where we, as teacher, give announcement, reminder, official information, etc., and question and answer, that is for question and answers. So if you have any question, you can ask there, and we will provide an answer. If you want to have private conversation, that's also possible. Just use direct message on Telegram. Just write to me, to Alberto, or Tommaso in a direct message, and it will work as well. We try not to use emails, but emails as an alternative for longer, slower, and private conversation. That's three characteristics: longer, slower, and private. Otherwise, it's not on an email. If it's short, fast, or not private, on Telegram. And you can use also office hour as well. That I try to fix them with some flexibility. So for this semester, if you want to talk with me about the things in these slides, and if you do the course with me in the past, this is the same slide that you already met, just in English. Not every Thursday actually, but say Thursday, 9 to 10 in the morning, and 3 to 7 in the afternoon. And if you want, you can book a 30-minute slot at this address, and you can book one 30-minute slot to talk with me about anything that is about the course, or anything that's not about the course, is about your career, your thesis, your internship, your whatever you think it would be good to talk with me about for half an hour. If those slots doesn't work, or if you need more time, less time is fine. More time, we can also handle in a separate way, but that will be on request. It could be in person or remotely. Okay? So this is again an opportunity for you, and you're free not to take the opportunity or to do it as you wish. And the calendar is already have all the Thursdays until Christmas. So you can plan ahead of time if you want or not. Okay? So this is again something, let's say, important to have as an extra moment to talk if you need private conversation, not just 7 p.m. after the class, but also in other moments. Any questions so far? Okay. So now let's move to the methodology of the course. This course is both project-based and problem-based, which means that you will learn doing a project in team, and that the project work doesn't start from me, from an idea that I have. It doesn't start from you as well, from an idea you have, but start from real needs of real people out in the world. That will be the first challenge. The second challenge you will have, that is what we call the need finding phase. So finding the need so that you can understand which are the problem, and then you understand how to solve them, the problem framing part. So project-based and problem-based. How we do this? We do this during the semester, and we do this with safeguard nets. And one aspect of these nets are that will be done step by step. And this step by step is represented by assignments. We will have assignments during the course that will represent the major moments of one of these phases to build the project up to the end of the course. So this project will be also within a given team and done mostly during the lab hours. So the lab hours will be for developing your project. Will not be, there is a text, do an exercise, is over. You have 1.5 hours each week to work on your project. The same project it will bring to the exam. And it will be done again step by step. We'll tell you what to do. We will exemplify what to do in class, and then we'll ask you to do it on your own. So theory, practice, guided practice, and independent practice in team. And we will iterate on 2 prototypes, 2.5 prototypes in this process of your final system, interactive system that will be. There will be 4 group assignments, and for the first 2, there will be also a feedback moment, the feedback session that was mentioned before, and the feedback is there to help you to improve the next step. Because if you do a terrible job in assignment 1, there is no way you will do a wonderful job by the end of the course. So the feedback is there to tell you, no, you have to move in this direction so that you can recover, fix the major problem, and proceed to the next step. That is assignment number 2. And then assignment number 2 will have another feedback session as a check for you to optionally fix something before proceeding to assignment number 4, actually, and then assignment number 5. So steps with feedback to keep you on the right direction, because of course it's the first time that you do something like this and you're not expert, and this is another safeguard net. New this year is that also we will keep a note on how those two assignments go. A note in the sense poor, good, excellent, just 3 levels. Because we noticed that maybe some people didn't, let's say, work on the first assignment, just expecting the feedback and then do the work after the feedback. And so we want to factor this in the evaluation as well, this not having worked well or at all in the first assignment. And so we keep track, this 3 level at least, and we factor it in the final evaluation. Assignments will be all evaluated except for this note at the exam. Feedback is there for you to move forward, not to get a score in that moment. So you can do a decent assignment 1, fix minor things, and that fixing minor thing will not impact the score. If it's like in the excellent or good probably level, will impact in a little way, in a minor way, or not at all, the final score. If instead you do a terrible job in the first assignment, you will have, of course, time to fix it, but again, you will not get a score for that assignment. You will just keep a note that that assignment was terrible, and you had a lot of things to do to fix it, if you want, and it's better that you won't, because that will be evaluated in the final version of that assignment, etc. So the first assignment will have explicit feedback during the lab hours from us, group by group. The other 2 will not, for the reason you will understand in a second. So about the course organization, we have classes this 3 hour, lecture plus exercise. We try to have the exercise always in the last slot, the 5:37, and the lecture in the first one, so that is not too heavy. We have 3 slots of labs starting from next week, and again it will be for group projects only, so each of you will be in one of these slots. The exception is that this week we will do classes in the first 3 hours of that slot. So 1 p.m., 4 p.m., 13, 15, 16, we'll do lecture there to get started, to give you more elements to start, just for this week. And that will be, this week, those will be 3 hours of lectures, so they will be video recorded. And also, because the room 2I is half this one, so we'll not be able to accommodate 140 people, and not even 100 probably. But that's the room we have, and we have to work with what we have. But just for this week, then we will not have problem with the labs, because it will be 1/3 of the people enrolled in the course. So it will be large enough for everyone. Yes?
I asked about the superposition with DSP.
How many of you have some overlaps with DSP? With distributed system programming? Okay, how many of you have overlaps at 1 p.m. with other courses on Wednesday? 4 people. And how many of you have overlaps at 2 p.m., 2:30 p.m.? More or less the same number of people. And how many of you have overlaps at 4 p.m.? That's a problem. That's a huge problem. Not for this Wednesday, for the labs. Sorry, 4 p.m. overlaps Wednesday? Well, except you, of course. 2 people, so more or less we are balanced, so we keep the original plan, and you will see the video recording. Hmm? Yeah. The room is smaller, so 4 is better. So classes. Classes will be in person, with like here. You should have power outlets at the desk, because if it's needed, you can use power. Again, lecture will be video recorded, will not be streamed, because video recorded doesn't mean streamed. And we will not video record, as I said before, exercise and labs. And again, this week we have a lecture on Wednesday, 1 p.m., 4 p.m. Labs start next week, October 1st. Again, room 2I has power out at the desk. And they will be for group activity. And the assignment text will be always online around 1 week in advance with respect to the start of the assignment. So for assignment 1 that will start next Wednesday, that means this Wednesday, so in a 2 day. And on Wednesday we'll present video recorded the text of assignment as well. So labs. Labs are where the work happens. So in-person participation is fundamental. It's like it's not possible without in-person participation to those hours. Are, as I said there, collaborative and interactive places to work and share feedback. So each team will be in the same slot for the entire semester, and we work with the same teacher for the entire semester. That will mean the teams in the first slot will always work, and then at the exam will be evaluated mostly by Alberto Monge, the second slot with me, and the third slot with Tommaso Calò. And that will be your reference teacher for the semester for your project work. I don't want to know anything about the other projects, and the other two teachers will not want to know anything about the other project that is not in their slot. Because you have a lot, you are a lot. And we will be there during those labs hours to support the team work, not just to reply questions. So we will not be sitting here waiting for someone to ask questions, but we will actively move around groups, checking, asking, because the thing you will need to do, you are not expert, you never did before, and you will need support and guidance to do it well. And the best you do before, the fewer problems you will have after. So let's try to intercept everything. So really collaborative, interactive places. Also, that's also why we split you in 3 groups. And there will be 2 main activities during the labs. One will be the assignment, so normal group work, and the other one will be the 2 checks, the 2 feedback session I was mentioning before, that will happen during the lab hours. Everything that is project related will be happen during the lab hours on Wednesday in the 3 slots. Okay? Each of the 3 slots will have a specific team, not only a specific teacher. And all the project in that slot must fall in this slot topic and specialize it, and we will explain you how in assignment 1. And the slot also will have around the same number of assigned team. To avoid that, slot number 1 has 20 teams and the other 2 have 3 teams. We will try to balance them across the 3 slots. And the teams, the topics for this year that are different from other years are these 3 that I will present better on Wednesday, but just to give you an idea. The first slot will be projects around health and well-being in like the general sense, from medicine to gym to exercise to whatever is within health, psychological stress, whatever, health and well-being. The second topic will be around education and learning, so projects that will focus on education and learning, either formal, in class, in school, in university, or non-formal. I am learning to play guitar on my own. That's still learning. I'm going around the city and want to learn the history of monuments. That's still learning, knowing this history. So in a general sense, education and learning. And the third one, that is a little bit more vertical, will be around imagining, more than creating final products, imagining interactive system that can use generative AI, but in a non-conversational way. So not based on a chatbot, but to do something different. In whatever topic, could be education, could be health, could be sports, could be whatever. I will give you more detail on this on Wednesday when we talk about projects, but just to give you this idea. And these three topics are in these three slots, and you see here also the teacher of each of them. Teams. Teams in this course will be 3 or 4 students. 4 is better, because 140, it's easier, divided by 4. I'm not going to create groups for you. I have no intention to do this operation, 0 intention of this operation. So it's your responsibility to create groups. You are old enough, grown up enough to take responsibility to create and maintain a group for a semester. And I know that will be problems, but still. We will be here for help, but we will not assign anyone to any group on our own. Okay? So your responsibility to form groups, whatever criteria you want to use. And if you don't know people, you can look on your left, on your right, on your back, on your front, and there will be at maximum 4 people you can interact with, and that's enough for a group. Or if you're not here and you're watching the video recording, you can use the Telegram group for shop for team members, saying, I am alone, I need other 3 people, or we are in 2, we need other 2 people, etc., and see if there is a match between people in the group. Let me say one thing that never happens. So I put it bold in all capital and underlined. In case of issues among teammates, because sometimes they happen. It's not vast majority, but sometimes happen even if you create the groups. In case of issue about teammates, the thing to do is to talk with us as soon as possible. If a group arrive at the exam after they get the score and say, oh, but this colleague of mine didn't work well, my answer would be, it's a little bit too late. We already gave you the score. Maybe telling this like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So if you have issues within the group and you are not able to solve it in, let's say, 1 week, 2 weeks, etc., talk to us. We will help figure out in one way or another. I'm saying this, I'm sure I will be ignored, because every year I say this and every year I will be ignored, but that's it. So if you arrive at the exam and say, I don't think that the score is valid because blah, 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 I will point you out to this video lecture where you can hear me saying, I'm warning you. You have to talk when the problem arises, not 6 months after. Again, you are big enough, old enough to take care of this and face problem and not to hide them, okay? And that's about teams. Then we will give you a private GitHub repository for the team for the assignments and for delivered assignments for the feedback sessions. We will create them as soon as we have the teams. About the exam. The exam is made of, let's say, 3 parts. One is the project, the team project I was talking about. That will be up to 20 points out of 30. And that will mean delivering a final report describing the entire process from now to the end. So the 5 assignments you will do, exactly the final assignment, but written in a report. and the source code of the prototype or whatever kind of source of the prototypes you will develop during the semester. That's 20 points. And that's a group effort. So 20 points for the group. Then, let me skip the second point for a moment. At the exam, or in the day after, we will have an oral discussion on the project up to 4 points. As a group, mandatory, everyone should be there at the same exam and speak. Not just occupy space and consume air, but also speak. The entire group, together. And that's also team effort. And then there is an individual part of the exam that is assignment number 3. Before I said there is assignment number 1 and 2 with feedback, and then 4 and 5. There is also assignment 3 that is an individual assignment on the project, so it's not something unrelated to the project, that will help proceed with the project. In a sense, will be some sort of feedback you will receive. That is the heuristic evaluation. That is an evaluation you will do on another group prototype at that point. And that evaluation you will do to the other project will be your individual part of your individual score up to 6 points. And again, we will explain you what is an heuristic evaluation, how to conduct it, we do practice, and then you will conduct it. All these will be valid until the end of the academic year. So if you don't pass the exam until September included, you will have to redo the course next year, because none of these will be valid after the September session 2026. So 20 plus 6 plus 4 is 30. We also have 2 extra points to be assigned for the participation and effort during the course, the project quality and creativity, and the oral discussion and presentation. And in these 2 points, the bad, good, excellent note we took for the first 2 assignments will come in. So if the first 2 assignments are both bad, you can forget these 2 points, essentially. Because it's not participation, it's not effort, it's not about quality, it's not about creativity. If 2 out of 4 assignment, where assignment 4 is very, very small, so 2 out of 3 assignment and a half are not properly done on the first trial. Okay? Any questions so far? We will provide templates for the reports, of course, which will need to be documents, not slides, right? Written documents by you, not by ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you want to use, but you. Any questions so far? Yes?
We need to come up with an idea and then actually build the software and write a report on that for the first part?
It's no. More or less. You have to, let's say, trust the process. We will explain you whatever you need to do step by step. Yes, in the end, you will need to have a software. But that will be December. We are in September. Between now and September and December, things will happen. I will give you a more detailed explanation of the 4 assignment now, but you will trust the process, okay? Well, evaluation criteria are the one also reported on the course information online, but project activity, originality, richness of the work, methodological and technical correctness of the solution, etc.
But given the team, who gives the idea? We have to go out and
You have to trust the process. We will explain all that needed to do this well in a well-done way. I don't want to hide things, but, and I'm sure that some of you, or many of you, or all of you, have seen the score of this course from last year and from the previous one, And you can see that this course has a high peak on like 2930 as a score, but also lower scores. And the people that get 2930, etc., are the ones who worked a lot. All of this is not done magically. It would be nice, but it's not. So you will have to work during the semester, in group, doing stuff, meeting deadlines, talking with us. So it's not, I'm sitting here and get 30 at the end. If you're sitting there, you will get 18 if you're lucky at the end. That's to be extremely clear. There is work to do here during the semester. Not a lot at the exam or around the exam, but during the semester there is, and we make time for you to work during the lab hours, sometimes during these hours as well. If you look on the schedule, there will be supervised work group on. That's time for you to work here to interact with us. Just to be extremely clear from day 0, okay? From day 1. Project development, and we will give you all the support we can and all the information we need to, and all the feedback and all the availability we can. For now, you have to trust me, and then you can check if it's true or not, including understanding why in this room is so hot with 2 doors open. Anyway, project development. The goal of the project development is to put in practice what we tell you in class. Again, project built step by step during the lab hours, mostly. Then you will probably have to do some work after, but mostly during those hours. The project topic will be proposed by the group within the chosen team and based on need finding that we will start talking about on Wednesday. So what you have to do is to think about the team, just a spoiler, and think about what context, what area you would be interested in exploring, for which people you want interested with exploring, not a solution. And this is another thing I say, and then after 1 week, I hear students coming to me saying exactly this. You should not, in this point, so your project topic is not, I want to develop an application for. That's not. You will, eventually, but it's not the starting point. The starting point is I want to understand how teachers teach math in elementary school. I want to understand the problem. I want to understand how people start doing exercise and why they continue to exercise and other stops, so that we can help those that stops to continue. That's the first thing. The topic is I want to understand something done by someone. That's the people-centered I was telling you 1 hour ago. That's the topic, and then eventually this will be, I will build an app for, but not day 0, not week 2, that will be more in the future. And that will be terrible for you. That will be extremely difficult for you, because your first instinct will be, I know the problem, and I will solve this problem. And we will force you not to. And you will not be happy, because you will receive a lot of no. Initially, you will not be happy. Then typically you will become after. But initially, you will not be. But this is not the first time I do this course. So I can predict with a certain percentage of success what's going to happen. Okay? So this is the topic that's proposed by the group, that will concretely become an application. That's for sure. And again, more on this on Wednesday. The group assignment, I was saying, represent the various steps of the project, starting in the lab, often followed by checks with teacher, and then evaluated at the exam through the reports and through the discussion with the group. So this is an overview of the assignment. There's already planned until the exam. So we start next week with assignment 1, that is need finding, that is understanding the problem. And we'll give you the theoretical knowledge before that, of course. And that will last 2 weeks with a feedback session on week 4. So this is week 1, week 2 a second, and then up to week 4 you have time to work on this. Then assignment 2 will be, in assignment 1 you define, I want to build an app for. So in 1 month, not before. In assignment 2 you will build the first prototype of that app in a low fidelity prototype, and we'll explain you why and how to do this for other 2 weeks on your project. And you actually will build 2 prototypes of the same app in 2 different ways. That's as a feedback from us. And then after this feedback, you also do the assignment 3. That is an evaluation on another group low fidelity prototype. So group A will evaluate the prototype of group B, and we'll give them feedback on what is working, what's not in that prototype, and vice versa. This needs to be done during the labs of week 8 and 9, so other 2 weeks. And this is the only assignment you cannot change. Once it's done, it's done. And that's are the points you get. The only one. The others can evolve. And of course, the results of this pass to the other group so that they can improve their prototype. To move to assignment 4, that is medium to high fidelity prototype, that will last 1 week because it's a very short and tiny assignment. And then we have assignment 5 that we start at week 11 out of 14 weeks. And we'll end 1 week before the exam date you decide to present the work. And coding, programming start at week 4, not at assignment 4, not before. So week 10 out of 14. There we start programming. Before there will be no need of programming. Or design architecture, a software system, whatever. Because the goal is to prototype often. And again, I will tell you why and how. What means 1 week before each exam date means that if you as a group decide to give the exam for the first time in September, you will have from January to September to work on assignment 5. This is unlikely to happen, but this also means that you do in the second seat, the second exam, you will have time from the end of the course to the second exam to work on your assignment 5. Whatever exam date you will firstly go to present, you have time to work on that assignment. It will not change across exams, it will be the same. So choose wisely according to your time, to other exams, whether the first exam is best for you, the second, the third, the fourth exams in the year is the best one for you. Okay? And this is a visual check how this is going to unfold, more or less. And of course, assignment 3 doesn't have a check because it's the individual evaluation. Assignment 4 is just a transition between assignment 2 and assignment 5. Is short, 1 week. You will see it's very, very short as an assignment. It could be 5A, but 5 is already big, so we prefer to keep it separate. But it's very short, so it doesn't need a check at the end. And during these weeks, you will have labs, you will have the possibility to talk with us and to ask questions about what you are going to do, your ideas, etc. And we move together towards a destination at the exam of your project. So oral discussion, I was saying, all teammates presenting. You will have 30 minutes to give a brief introduction of the project, no slides, just give a brief introduction of the project. Do a demonstration of the implemented prototype, the one in code. answer some questions from all the teachers, the one from your topic and the other two. The demonstration, and I will come back to these slides like before Christmas, because you will forget. The demonstration is the most critical part and needs to be prepared, not just rig it up at the moment. And we will have already read the report, evaluated the assignment, look at the code if you want. So there is no need to cover things that are already written, in the report. Just a brief introduction to the project. Just remember us, oh, this project is about biological agriculture applied to space, and then proceed with the demonstration. There are 5 assignments plus assignment 0, that is the group composition, of course. There is a Google form that asks you for a group name. Keep it short, because that will be also the name of your GitHub repository, so you don't want a really long name. 1-2 words per name. 4 people max for each report: the ID, the student ID, surname, name, GitHub username, whatever you want, just pick one, and your preferred email. And the form will ask for 2 preferred lab slots, with the option to say, no, I cannot in any other slots because I have other exams, other courses. And from that, the deadline for this is September 30, end of the day. So 11, so 23, 59, 59, etc. And we will, in the morning of October 1, put everything together, balance teams around slots, and we'll communicate to you before the labs in which slot you have to go and at which time. All the deadlines we have in this course are end of the day. That is midnight minus 1 millisecond. Then the slides report some suggested books that we also use to create these slides, and that we will meet like the design of everyday things. But these are just for you. These are more, let's say, academic books, these 4. And this is instead more like narrative books, something you can, smaller, not academic, not textbook, just books that you can, if you want, read. And we base some of the material of this course on these 6 books, mostly. And with that, do you have any question?
Can we retake the exam once we decide?
Yes.
Do it the first time and then
You can do, yes. You can do the exam as a group, all members. Then you get 25. And let's say that for 2 of you, you don't like this 25, and the 2 of you can retake the exam. So it's not only the first time the entire group should be present. The second, the third time, the fourth time could also be one person editing something, trying to do better presentation, depends where is the problem, and retake the exam, yes. The only things you cannot retake is the individual assignment.
But the score is given to the whole group, not yes, for example, the 25 that you said is given to the group.
So up to 24 points are given to the group, and then the other 6 are the individual assignments, so they are, of course, individual. And then there is the extra 2 points that we can decide to give to you, but not to him, if there are reasons and motivation that we deem necessary.
So if you redo the exam, you redo the overall, obviously, but you can also edit in progress.
Yes. If you redo the exam, you probably need to edit the report, because it's not in the 4 points that you lose points typically. It's in the report. So the main problem in the report is that you do things, but you are terrible, not you, maybe also you, but your colleague in the past years did things, but they were terrible in describing what they did. So they did stuff, but they didn't write about them. And so if it's not written, it's not present, and so it's wrong. Or who knows if it's wrong, so is losing points. Yes? No, because we are not going to publish it before. And also because the fourth assignment cannot start, we'll need, like each assignment will need the previous assignment completed.
Yeah, because before there is the individual one. So I was wondering if I could start working on my on our group project.
No, because maybe a little bit before, after the text is out, because also the individual one is you evaluating their project, and they, for instance, evaluate your project, and they will give you information from your project to continue. So you need to get information first and then continue. So if they are quick in giving you the information, you can start a few days before, yes.
So I worked on something based on what they said.
Well, you get information. If the information is reasonable, you implement them. If the information is not, you have to motivate why is you discard them and discuss with the teacher your slot and then proceed. It's very much thinking, talking, designing, and doing. But since you are not expert on any of these, you need to face the discussion with us that are, let's say, a little bit more expert than you, okay, on these topics. Okay, let's do a 10 minutes break and then we will start again at 5:35.